Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Montielverse. Like I said, we are going to be doing tier lists. I'm going to have an array of tier lists coming at you guys that I need to just give my thoughts on and really put my opinion out there because you know what? Like, I enjoy doing tier lists. It just hit me a few weeks ago, actually, that I actually enjoy doing these things. I did one. It was kind of a hit video. We're not big on likes right now because we're a small channel, but it did bring in a lot of eyes, a lot of new pair of eyes to the channel. I think there was 140 viewers on the last tier list I did, and it's the one where I broke down the top women's wrestlers. So shit, I'm like, why not do this one? This is the best champions ranked from 2016 to now. So as you can see, we have a total of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 champs in the last 8 years. So yeah, let's get down to it. Number 1, Dean Ambrose. If you don't know, I have a long history with Dean Ambrose. He was my favorite wrestler up until he left. After that, he turned into John Moxley, did the whole AEW thing, which he's a top star in that company. Not fucking CM Punk or anybody else. He is a top star in that company. However, I don't like his theme song. You know what I mean? His work in the ring is fantastic, but I don't know. I just can't get behind his new gimmick or whatever, which is an unpopular opinion, is a cold take, but I understand it. So 2016, a lot of people thought his reign was lackluster. He cashed in on Seth Rollins, and after that, he had a triple threat match with his Shield brethren, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. He won that match, took the championship to SmackDown. After that, he faced off against Dolph Ziggler for the championship at SummerSlam, which wasn't a well-received match by any means of the imagination. And a lot of people at this time thought his championship reign was just bland, was living up to expectations. Some even accused Dean Ambrose of being lazy. So at Backlash 2016, he had a match against the next man on the list, AJ Styles, and had a great match. AJ Styles ultimately ended up beating Dean Ambrose with a low blow and then a Styles clash. So then the rest is history. So with all that being said, I liked his reign. I was a big Dean Ambrose fan, and I just gotta say the payoff wasn't exactly what I thought it was gonna be. Seriously, like, I was the biggest Dean Ambrose fan there was, especially 2016. I wore all of his shirts, the Lunatic Runs the Asylum. I was backing him up. He was my hero at that point. And his reign was too damn short, for one, and two, the whole thing with Dolph Ziggler was a throwaway. Like, nobody cared. To be honest with you, like, nobody gave a rat's ass about that match. And when you think of SummerSlam 2016, you think of Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, Styles versus Cena, Balor versus Rollins. You don't think of the match that had the WWE Championship at stake at all. You don't think about it. Even Orton versus Lesnar, you think about that one over this. So that is what put his fucking title reign in the grave, was that fucking match. And I think Vince, for whatever reason, just didn't see Ambrose as a fucking top star, which again pisses me off. I'm thinking maybe if we can't get The Rock for WrestleMania, we need Ambrose. And if we can't get Ambrose / Moxley, then we need The Fiend. I don't see Roman fighting anybody else at WrestleMania 39, especially if he has the titles. So moving on is AJ Styles. He beat Dean Ambrose at Backlash, as we said, and then he went on as a heel. To be honest with you, I don't remember this reign all that much. He faced off against Cena a couple of times. I do remember the match at the Royal Rumble of 2017 where Cena beat Styles in a great match. He cheated Ambrose out of 2 matches at least. They had a great match at TLC, but Ellsworth ended up getting involved and costing Ambrose the WWE Championship. And again, look, to be honest, I hated Styles at this point. And as a champ, he didn't really strike me as being all that great in this run anyway. So I'm gonna have to put him like at I feel like a B2. I don't think he was better than Dean. I think he had better matches than Dean, but as far as like being like a champ, I don't remember most of his reign. So that's a big deal for somebody not to remember his reign. Because I remember the second one, the one that's coming up. I remember that, but I don't remember his first reign all that much. Cena, I'm gonna give him a C. He beat Styles at the Royal Rumble, lost it to fucking Bray Wyatt in the Elimination Chamber. What can you really do with 2 matches, really? And Cena is usually a great champ, but obviously this run was never meant to be long. So I feel like he did his job getting it to the next man, which is Bray Wyatt. And I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, there's not much you can go off there. Very average. It wasn't terrible, but you know, it is what it is. Bray Wyatt. This one's tough too, because when he won it, I didn't care. When he lost to Orton literally the next month, I didn't care either. I was rooting for Orton. So I'm gonna have to say his reign was a D at this point. It was like almost no point to it. You know what I mean? Like, he wins the damn thing at the Elimination Chamber. And at the time, Randy Orton was in the Wyatt family. He was playing that angle. And they thought, oh, let's make this shit interesting. Let's make, you know, him the WWE champion and let's let them fight at WrestleMania. The match was whatever. Like, it wasn't anything spectacular, but his reign didn't last long, and obviously Vince didn't see him as a top guy, and he was just gonna feed him to Orton anyways. So I just like, whatever. Literally a D. It's worse than Cena. It's like he literally won the championship just to be the throne. And I didn't find him all that interesting. Randy, on the other hand, I'll put him at a fucking, this title reign anyway. I'll put him at a, of course. Okay, I'm clicking you. I don't understand what the issue is. Yeah, I think his reign was better than Cena, but look, I mean, he beat Bray. Then he had this fucking awful rivalry with Jinder. But it was a reign that nobody expected, and I'm not talking about him becoming champion. I'm talking about him doing the things that he did during his reign. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't anything spectacular, but at least it was a lengthier reign than fucking Cena and Bray, and told a story. And for once, of course, Vince was trying to bring up somebody that was an underdog and didn't see them being his champion and give him a shot. But of course, he picked the worst fucking person ever, Jinder Mahal, who gets a fucking D, like fucking below Bray. Like, nobody gives a shit about Jinder. He's literally the worst fucking WWE champion ever. Like, period. It's him or the Great Khali. I just don't see him. He sucked. There was nothing cool about him. The coolest thing about his song is, the coolest thing about him is his song, and you don't understand what the fuck it's saying. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, there's nothing charismatic about Jinder. The fucking Singh brothers were retarded. It's completely ridiculous that he beat Orton in his freaking hometown and shit. It's just really ridiculous. I just can't get behind Jinder whatsoever. The main reason why his title reign ended wasn't because the fans hated his ass, but it was because Brock Lesnar was a Universal Champion at the time, and Survivor Series was coming up, and Brock is literally flat out just said, hey, I ain't working with this guy. I don't see anything in him. I don't think it'd be an interesting match, and personally, I don't really care for the dude. So Vince, like, of course, because that was Vince's boy, back especially in 2017, 18. Like, it was just. I love Vince, but I'm like, his fucking decisions make me go nuts sometimes. I just don't understand what the fuck. And they handed it off to Styles. Styles had a fucking great reign, okay? This time around, he went up against Lesnar at Survivor Series. I know this wasn't a title match, but it was a great match. You remember it. You were hyped up for it. It's the match that you expected it to be. Lesnar dominating, and then Styles getting the flurries in and almost beating him. He went up against Nakamura in 2 crazy ass fucking matches and shit, especially the one at Money in the Bank. So yeah, those are standout moments to me. And then his title defenses against Daniel Bryan, who's the next champ. Again, top tier work. So I'm gonna give this title reign the first A of the day. If I could just get it up here. So that's Prime Styles. And I think that's the best run he's gonna get in WWE, to be honest with you. There's just no other way to put it. That Styles doing his best work. In ring, promo, just all around the storylines. I mean, everybody remembers that. I mean, that's the biggest standout to me. And I don't even like Nakamura all that much, but that rivalry with Styles was crazy. And the one with Daniel Bryan too, like, he made that WWE Championship interesting. And the storylines around him, again, cool. I know I'm going around in circles, but like, that's Prime Styles right there. And the reign lasted 371 days, which I think is like 10th longest or some shit like that. Could be lower than that now because of reigns. Next, we have Daniel Bryan. Look, I know everybody loves this guy, and there's a big, big fucking thing in the wrestling world. I never fucking liked Daniel Bryan. Ever. I mean, I just don't like his character. The overuse of one word is completely just, I can't. I don't get what's so special about a 5'10" guy chanting yes, 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 yes. You know what I mean? He's a great technical wrestler, don't get me wrong, but it's like, I just don't get it from a fucking, I don't get the craziness. You know what I mean? To me, he's like a fucking, that fast food restaurant that everybody loves and shit, but it tastes like shit. You know what I mean? He's like Taco Bell to me. Everybody goes there and shit. Everybody knows the result that you're gonna get of it, but they still love it anyway. Daniel Bryan, to me, never fucking had a great title reign. He had a great road and a journey getting to the title. But once he became champ, like, it's over. I was there at 2013 WrestleMania when he beat Cena. My sister wasn't happy. I didn't really have a dog in that fight, but when my boy Randy Orton cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase, best fucking day ever at that point. So, yeah, again, I don't like Daniel Bryan. I didn't think his fucking, and especially this one, the whole save the world shit. We need to recycle and all this other crap, like the Eco Champion or whatever the fuck it was. The belt is fucking atrocious. Now, it's just really and shit. The only standout thing about it is the fucking aqua rock thing that serves as the stripe. Or the underlining of the W. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it. But the point is, no. I won't give him a D because he built up Kofi. You know what I mean? He had that rivalry. Oh my god. But he's a C to me. I didn't like his reign. The most fucking memorable thing about him was literally building up Kofi. Which that brings us to Kofi. Kofi had a great road there and a great run as WWE Champion. Another thing about his run is the way that it fucking ended. But before we get to that, his matches with Daniel Bryan, top tier. His matches with Randy Orton, especially from a story standpoint, was beautiful. I remember Randy Orton reading the letter that Kofi's son slid under his hotel door because apparently they were staying at the same hotel. And he's reading it to Kofi, and the way that he read it was just like top tier hero Randy Orton. Like, it's just, and then, Kofi's a passionate guy. Everybody wanted Kofi to be WWE champ forever. He finally got a shot, and I say he fucking delivered. He delivered. I remember his reign, and I remember only positive fucking things about it besides fucking, the way that it ended. So he's either A minus or B plus. I'm gonna put him above Dean. I don't think he's an A, in my opinion. You know what? No, I'll give him an A. It was good. He delivered for his fans, and he became a memorable champ. Brock, again, this is again Vince just throwing Brock up there every single fucking chance that he got. He killed fucking Kofi's reign in 4 seconds or whatever the fuck it was. Literally shortest WWE Championship match ever on SmackDown. If I'm not wrong, it's fucking close to it. I don't fucking get why they decided to end it off that way. I mean, the least it could have done was fucking, you know what I mean? Like, made a match out of it. 10 minutes, 15 minutes at fucking bare minimum. They didn't even do that. So this fool, this is where I give credit to Brock. No matter how many times he gets up there, you don't get bored of his ass. The main complaint about him was, oh, he doesn't show up every week. I'm like, great. You know what I mean? Like, it's just whatever. But I like this run. I really do. So he beat Kofi. And then went on to go to the Royal Rumble in 2020. Enters number 1 and says if he's going to win the Royal Rumble because, there's nobody to challenge him. I'd rather be in fucking the Bahamas and be here and shit or some place. So he decided, fuck it. You know what? I'm going to do this thing. If I win the Royal Rumble, I'm not even going to bother showing up at WrestleMania. Fool enters number 1. He mows through 13 fucking wrestlers like they're nothing. Everybody from fucking Elias to John Morrison to Bobby Roode to Keith Lee and Braun Strowman, among others, it just got the fucking boot. Shelton Benjamin MVP included. It's just pure fucking domination. Big E was one of them. Rey Mysterio, Kofi again. So, like, I gotta say, and then he had that rivalry with Drew, and he had that match, unfortunately, in front of the Thunderdome with no crowd. And he dropped it to Drew. He did his job. So Brock, I'm going to give him, I'm sorry, but he made the fucking shit exciting. He built a storyline and fucking matches where they really needed them, especially in the Thunderdome era. So he did his job. I'll give him a B+. I don't think Brock has ever been champ, and he's been a terrible champ. Like, no matter how you feel about Brock, look, I hate Brock, but I respect that man. Straight out of Roman Reigns' mouth. Like, that's exactly how I feel about Brock. Never liked Brock or his fucking character, and I mean, like, in a good way. Like, I just can't stand how big of an asshole he is. Especially what he did to the Mysterios and then Triple H, 10 years ago. What he did to Vince, what he does to Roman and Seth over the years. Like, I've never liked Brock. You know what I mean? Like, he's never been on the side of doing what's right. He just beats the shit out of you and gets paid. Like, that's literally his fucking thing. And I like the fact that he brings legitimacy to the WWE. That was this whole big fucking thing in 2012. Which he does. He makes the shit feel like it's a fucking 100%, like, somebody's gonna die in that fucking ring. So that's what it is. Drew, I'd give him a fucking B2. Look, after he beat Brock, he defended it against Seth Rollins, who claims he's a messiah at this point. Another fucking nutcase. He beats him. And then, if I'm not mistaken, if there's something in between, Randy Orton comes in and they have a great rivalry with all the legends being involved. And again, just top tier legend killer Randy Orton type shit. You know what I mean? And he does what he does. And Drew makes it fucking entertaining. Like that Hell in a Cell match between the two where Randy Orton wins. That was crazy shit. And then the ambulance match too. That was fucking crazy shit. Like that's what this run is known for. That rivalry. So yeah, I mean, he delivered for his fans too. People wanted to see Drew as champ. He delivered. Not as good as Kofi, in my opinion, but he delivered. Next, we have Randy. I'm not gonna put him above Drew, but make no mistake about it, he's the one that fucking elevated Drew to where he is now. He made Drew what he is. As far as character wise goes, and we saw how far Drew can dig down deep and shit. You know what I mean? Like, and just really go at it. And I enjoyed the shit out of that storyline. I really did. Yeah, I think that's gonna be the placement for that. So after another match, I think it was the ambulance. No, it wasn't the ambulance match. Whatever match, he fucking won against Orton on. He became champ again. No, it was on Monday Night Raw. I think it was a no DQ match. He beat him because Drew wanted to challenge Roman at Survivor Series. And Roman's like, you know what, dude? You don't even have a championship, so why am I fighting your ass? It's champion against champion. Best of the best. Best versus best. Raw versus SmackDown. You don't qualify. Go get a belt and then we'll talk. So that's exactly what he does. He beats the shit out of Orton and he gets the belt, comes to SmackDown and has this fucking killer match with Roman Reigns at Survivor Series 2020. Which, again, like, we are going to see this shit again at Clash at the Castle 2022. And I'm just like, I can't wait because every time these two guys are in the ring, it's magic. Like, it really is. You're invested in it. Because honestly, Drew's the underdog here due to the fact that he's never beaten Roman Reigns ever. Whether it be straight up or, him calling his fucking bloodline in, he's never done it. He couldn't beat him as a big dog and he can't beat him as a tribal chief. So whether he can do it now, I hope not, but it is a good possibility that Drew is going to end up being WWE champ once again. Which, honestly, out of the current roster, I'd pick him. I just don't see anybody else. Maybe Seth, but it's like Roman not beating Seth is just ridiculous to me. Like, he at least has to get one win over Seth before he drops the title to Seth, if that's where they want to go. Anyways, and then obviously going back to the title reign, Drew has an incredible rivalry with Bobby Lashley. Which, again, another Hell in a Cell match that fucking went crazy. And there was this stipulation where if Drew loses to Bobby Lashley, then he will never challenge for the WWE Championship again as long as Bobby Lashley is the WWE Champ. Very similar to Roman Reigns versus Riddle. And so we lost. And at this point, or was this after? Because I get my timelines mixed up sometimes. So I think this one doesn't deserve as high praise as the other ones. I'm going to have to go C or B here. Somebody gets fucked. So The Miz cashes it in on Drew, becomes WWE Champ, which, again, not a fan of The Miz this reign at all. Literally loses it a fucking week later. Promises Lashley a fair match. So that's what led up to this. Lashley is now a heel of the year at this point. Again, I think this is where he said, you know what, Drew? You're not going to challenge me for the fucking title again. He beats Drew. Dominates everybody. Goldberg, which I enjoyed that because I was live for that there. I don't know who he fought before that. But the fucking main thing about this shit was, again, Big E and Goldberg were his two biggest rivals. And Drew. But he plowed through Drew, got rid of fucking Goldberg like nothing. And then eventually loses to Big E because Big E cashes in his championship. Like, honestly, I know people like Lashley. So do I. But I don't think this fucking reign delivered all that much. Especially, I mean, I don't remember shit about it. Except for Goldberg and Drew. And of course, Big E, who he loses it to. So that's kind of an issue. And he did hold that belt for a fucking good amount of time. So therefore, I can't pick up his title reign and put it at a fucking, you know, big ass B plus or A. Big E, another man that they wanted to become WWE champ, and he did, and he fucking just he delivered. Again, like, this is what happens when you listen to the fucking fans. The fans know what they're talking about most of the fucking time. And Big E was fucking just one of those who was slept on. He won the Money in the Bank. He was threatening to cash in on Roman and Bobby. Ended up cashing on Bobby on Monday Night Raw. And the rest is history. He had matches against Drew, who he defeated. He had a match at Survivor Series against Roman, which is a good match. He defended it at fucking day one. And it was supposed to be one-on-one against Seth, but Kevin Owens got in the mix. And then so did Seth. Oh no. Seth versus Big E was supposed to happen. Kevin Owens got involved. And then fucking Brock Lesnar got involved because Roman got COVID. So he ended up dropping the fucking belt to fucking Brock that day. Which, I like this title reign. I give it a fucking solid B. So probably here. Not fucking bad. However, I don't remember. I mean, there wasn't much about it because he held it for like 4 or 5 months, which was decent for him, but ultimately ended up losing it to Brock, who fucking only had it for what? About 28 days? He lost it to Lashley because Roman interfered in their match against in the Royal Rumble. So his fucking title reign kind of pointless, but you know, ends up winning the fucking Royal Rumble at the end of the damn thing. Lashley loses it the next month in the fucking Elimination Chamber, so he got even fucking less. There's nothing much to go off of there either. Brock walks in to WrestleMania as fucking WWE champ, which again, I'm just going to put that here. And loses it to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 38 in a match that should have been better, but wasn't. But thankfully, we got a payoff at SummerSlam 2022. I should have just said it this year because the shit was literally 12 days ago. Roman's held the WWE Championship ever since. And this is where I'm kind of like, I have to kind of come back to it and just, because he hasn't fucking defended the belt other than Brock, if we're just talking about the WWE Championship. So I'm going to put Roman here for the WWE Championship. Here. Because if we're going based off of Universal, his ass would be up here. But if we're just for WWE, I'm going to put it at a B. He hasn't had it very long. He hasn't really fought anyone for it, so I can't really put it up there. But he's the type of guy where you're invested into whatever he's doing anyway. So who is he going to defend it against? When is he going to lose it? So that's my take on this shit. Most of the champions we've had over the last 8 years have been, or 6 years, have been B's. There's only 2 guys who made the A-list. AJ Styles' second run and Kofi Kingston's first run. 2 reigns I couldn't fucking stand. 5 reigns, I was just like, who gives a fuck, really? So, yeah. Now it's time to see what the community says, which I can't wait for this shit. I guess I have to sign it in or whatever. I don't know what the fuck. Oh, well, I guess there's really no community here. Usually I click on it and just give me this shit, but, you know, whatever. That's fine with me. Anyway, that's my take, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this fucking video. This one's going to be up in the next day or two. Hope you guys enjoyed that Universal Championship unboxing from WWE Shop. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. And subscribe, like, comment, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Deuces.